Welcome to Women Speakers Association's WSA TV. I'm Laura Rubenstein, your host and producer. Would you like to know what to do when challenges keep showing up and you feel stuck and that seems like a pattern? Would you like to know how people who encounter tough situations get through them, like flowingly? Many people seem to feel like they're perpetual victims to the challenges that keep getting thrown in their face. And the drama can be habit forming. However, you can interrupt that pattern. And our two personal development experts today are going to share how to get unstuck and live a personal, purposeful life that you desire. So let's go say hi to them. Hi, Catherine.
Hello. Thank you so much, Laura. My name is Catherine Moore. I am a licensed mental health therapist. I'm based out of Southern California in Orange County. And you can learn more about me on my website at socialworkersrise.com.
Wonderful to have you. And hi, Maryann.
Hi, thank you once again for having me. My name is Maryann Rivera-Dannert. I'm an author, life coach, and speaker. My website is MaryanRivera-Dannert.com, and I'm located in Rochester, New York.
Great to have both of you here today. So I wanted to dive right into our topic of how to get unstuck. And both of you have incredible wisdom and tips. So Catherine, I was wondering if you could share with our audience your tips for getting unstuck.
Of course, I would love to. Thank you, Laura. So as a mental health therapist and burnout survivor myself, I have quite a few experiences helping other people and helping myself get unstuck and really refocus and find that purpose in your life. So if you are feeling stuck, a quick tip for you is to really take stock on what is going on in your life. Really be aware of how you're feeling physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and reevaluate what is working and what is not working. So that would be, just a quick tip for you. And then once you have that information, that's when you can really start to evaluate and see, okay, where do I need to go from here? How can I pivot? What changes can I make? Because if you're feeling stuck, there's something that's not working in your life.
Yes. So identifying what's really going on and then doing something about it. I love that. I know your expertise is in resiliency. So do you have any tips around resiliency as well?
Yes. So one thing that I would caution you about is pay attention to how you're talking to yourself. So we all have this self-talk that's going on in our head. It can be either encouraging or it could tear you down. For example, if I'm facing a really hard situation, I'm feeling stressed every day. And if my self-talk is something like, well, of course, Catherine, because you're just dumb, you mess up everything, then that's going to bring myself down, as opposed to showing myself some self-compassion, saying, look, you got this. You've overcome hard things before in your life, and you can overcome this too. This is not going to kill you. You are going to get through this. We just have to figure out how. So it brings a different energy to yourself, and it taps into that ability that you already have because you've already overcome struggles. You've already done a lot of problem solving in your life. Whatever you're facing next, you can do this too.
Wonderful. I love that. Self-compassion is so important. And Maryann, I bet you would agree with that too. And I wanted you to address the question. So when someone's feeling stuck, how can they get unstuck? What would you add to this?
Yeah, thank you. I love this question. And a piece of advice that I would give to take action today is to grab a piece of paper and pretend that money is no object, time is no object. You still have responsibilities, but for this moment, for this exercise, they don't matter. And I want you to map out your perfect day from the moment that you wake up to the moment that you go to sleep. Where are you waking up? Who are you waking up next to? Are you by yourself? Are you with a significant other? Are you waking up in a cabin in the woods, or are you waking up in a condo overseeing the ocean? Be as explicit and as detailed as possible. And then take a moment to pause and reflect. Look at where you are today, how your life is actually going, and compare that to your perfect day. See where the gaps are and make a plan to start tackling those things that are keeping you stuck and are keeping you from living your perfect day and start making those necessary changes so you can have that perfect life that you desire and hope for.
And when you start making this plan, because I think that's so valuable, do you have any recommendations of where to start?
I will say tackle, your, mental, physical, emotional, financial, spiritual, social, your personal life, your professional life, and just look at all the areas in your life. And you may even want to make little blocks on that piece of paper and label them, personal. This is where I'm at now. This is where I ideally would like to be. Financially, look at your bank account. Is it negative? Is it in the red? Or do you only have a couple of dollars there, but where do you ideally want to be? And again, look at those gaps and start to identifying steps to get there.
It makes it so much more doable, right? When you can actually see it on paper, because it may feel hugely overwhelming and that more expenses or more obstacles coming your way. But when you put it on paper and you have a vision and you know what you can do, you take those baby steps and you unstuck yourself, so to speak, right?
Yes.
Beautiful advice, ladies. So I want to get to know a little bit more about you and your expertise. So Catherine, maybe you can share with us, who do you work with and what do you do with them?
Yes, that's a great question. So I work with young women primarily who are feeling overwhelmed with the responsibilities of life, whether they're in college or they have a family or they're working full time or all of the above, right? Sometimes we do it all. And I really help them refocus on what is most important. What are their values? Where is it that they want to go? And when they are feeling stuck, how do we get unstuck? How do we work through this? What does this even look like? Because we're essentially talking about changing up our daily routines, our habits, and it has to be worth it. So when you're looking to get unstuck, you have to have a purpose that is going to be worth going through the change of routines, the struggles, because any change is a struggle and there's going to be a loss there, right? A loss of the old life that can be scary. It's comfortable because we know it. It's not comfortable because it's working. It's comfortable because it's familiar. But now we need to step out of that routine and those habits and find out what is it that really gets you motivated, that pumps you up, that lights you up. And that's what I love doing, is working with people and finding what lights them up and being able to cheer them on, encourage them, work with them on their emotions and their thoughts that might be holding them back, and see them reach their terms of success.
That's great. Do you have a story of how you help someone?
Yes. So I worked with a coaching client of mine who was in a toxic work environment. And she was one of those people where she knew that the environment was not helpful. It wasn't conducive, but at the same time, she was scared to go out and see what else is out there for the fear of what if it's worse, right? So I helped her work through those. So what are the signs of a toxic work environment? What do we need to be looking for in a positive work environment? What does that look like? So when we're applying for jobs and we're doing interviews, we're really looking for those positive cues that signal, oh, this is probably a healthier environment to be in. And being able to help her through the fear of transitioning out of the familiar into something new. And when that happened, she was just so grateful. I put myself out of a job. She didn't need my service anymore. She's like, thank you so much. She was just living her best life, very fulfilled with the salary that she wanted. She had the work-life balance. It was an amazing experience.
Oh, it's great when you can do that for people. Thank you for the great work you do. So Maryann, talk to us, tell us a little bit more about your work. Who do you work with? What do you do for them?
Yes, thank you. So I work with women who are over the age of 35, who feel stuck and unfulfilled in their life. They know that something is missing. They're not happy with their current circumstances, but they're not sure of what next steps to take. And that's where I come in.
And what do you do with them?
Yeah, so I help them create strategies to build healthy boundaries. And creating those healthy boundaries allow them to be more confident, to get unstuck so they can start living the life that they deserve and desire.
The big boundaries word. It's funny, isn't it funny that the word boundaries actually gives you freedom?
Yes.
It helps you get unstuck. That's great.
Yes.
So tell us about someone you helped with your work.
Yeah, so I actually also created a podcast because I feel that everyone deserves coaching, and coaching, involves an investment. So, with my podcast, I'm able to reach women worldwide, which is part of my vision. And I remember at my regular 9 to 5 job a couple of years ago, I mentioned my podcast to a colleague, and she started listening to the podcast. And every week she would come and say, "Oh, that story, so that so and so, talked about resonated with me." She would tell me why. And several months later, I think it was probably 2 or 3 months into listening to my podcast and the different guests on the show, she revealed, and this individual was over the age of 50, that she did not have a driver's license. She did not know how to drive because of a relationship that she was in. And she got the courage to step out and start taking driving lessons. And then she disclosed that her dream was to be a school bus driver because of the freedom, not working during the summer, having that big gap during the day, only working in the mornings and in the afternoons. And she applied to be a school bus driver. She took all the exams, she did the background check, and she passed everything. And then about 2 weeks later, because as an HR professional, during my 9 to 5, she submitted her resignation because she was moving on to her dream. She was moving on to become a school bus driver.
Great. Amazing. Awesome.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
When we can get over our fears, anything's possible. I love that. Thank you for the great work you're
Yes.
doing.
Thank you.
So one last question for both of you. Here at Women Speakers Association, we have extraordinary women. You two are definitely in that category. And so I want to know, what has Women Speakers Association done for you or hoping to do for you, Catherine?
Yeah, so I am really excited to be part of the Women Speakers Association, to be part of the network, to get to know other extraordinary women who are already doing what I want to do and doing it better so I can learn from them. So that's what I'm most excited for with this organization.
Great. Well, you're in the right place with the networking meetings, with the collaborative books, with the Facebook groups, and other opportunities to meet with experts online. So great point. Maryann, how about you? What is the value of Women Speakers Association you're receiving?
Yeah, thank you. So I joined the Women Speakers Association because I'm a lifelong learner. So I love learning, personal and professional development. And I'm looking forward to the networking, to the exposure, to the collaborations, and getting that notch of being a best-selling author.
Yes. And speaking of the best-selling author, we have our next book filling up. We have like a couple of spaces left. It's called Voices of the 21st Century. This is the 2023 book. We are filling up for the 2024 book. It's called Voices of the 21st Century, Women Empowered Through Passion and Purpose. And both of you women are passionate and purposeful. And I love having you here on the show. So thank you so much for being and sharing your wisdom today with us, and giving of your heart, and for the wonderful difference you're making in the world. So we will be back with you next time for another episode of our Premier Women Show, featuring our Women Speakers Association Premier members. Thanks, Maryann. Thanks, Catherine.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.